What started out as an internet rumor that ended up being infamously true? Rob Ford, former mayor of Toronto, was rumored to be a crack user, and he was. Some banned episodes or scenes of cartoons, for example. I remember there was a Dexter's Lab cartoon where he clones evil versions of Dee Dee and himself, and they swear like every other word censored, of course, and people debated whether it even existed cause they only aired it like once. Now it's pretty accessible online. This predates the internet, but there was always a rumor that you could jump over the flagpole in Super Mario Bros. Even as a kid in the 80s I thought it was bullshit. Turns out it's true, lol. Thousands upon thousands of copies of the Atari E.T. game being buried in the desert. There were jokes for years about Bill Cosby being some sort of weirdo, an unwholesome man pretending to be wholesome. People made games about him beating people up by luring them in with pudding cups or outright being a sex pest. Turns out he was a serial rapist. Carrie Fisher's heart attack. Some asshole who was on the same flight was live-tweeting the whole medical emergency and justified it by insisting she was just making sure the family was informed. In the BBS days, during the Judas Priest subliminal message trial, there was a rumor that frontman Rob Halford was gay. It was the early 90s and not too believable at the time. Heck, even George Michael wasn't out yet. But now, Halford describes himself as the stately homo of heavy metal. Josh Duggar's crimes. John Edwards' love child. For the Brits. Jimmy Savile. That Jerry Falwell Jr. enjoyed his wife hooking up with the pool boy. The wholesome family-oriented dude from Try Guys cheating on his wife with his co-worker, who was engaged in an 8-year-long relationship. The ironic part is he was always imposing himself as a perfect family dude with Christian morals. I heard about this rumor on Reddit a few months before it was revealed. I didn't believe it at first, but YA. Ricky Martin's sexuality. The Sesame Street short cracks. Probably not exactly what you're looking for, but still interesting. A private island where people fuck kids. Josh Duggar was mentioned on some forums not too long after he and his family got their TV show. Britney Spears' abusive conservatorship. Bill Cosby. Diddy has had a long history and reputation for his behavior for ages before everything started hitting the fan. I'm talking decades. Wasn't the Danny Masterson stuff all over the internet several years ago? In 2010, Joaquin Phoenix infamously announced that he was quitting his acting career for good and becoming a rapper. No one believed it, and so many people on the internet said it was just a performance for a mockumentary movie. And he then later released a mockumentary movie about it and admitted it was all a gag, to the surprise of no one. Not so much a rumor, but the black community was fully aware of R. Kelly's nonsense. And if you count Aaliyah, which you should, so was the rest of the world. I specifically remember watching a bootleg copy of the infamous, highly illegal video when I was about 10-11 at a friend's apartment in the ghetto. When everything came out a few years back, I was aghast that people were shocked, as it was never a secret. The stuff about Louis C.K. was floating around the internet for years before it all blew up. Same with Harvey Weinstein. That there was this stupid thing called a torrent that let you bypass the need for crap like Napster and LimeWire, and there was no way to stop it, and that soon, everything that ever was would be in a torrent and you could just download it for free. Once I figured it out, thanks Demonoid, I sent the dude who invented that a nice little sum from my PayPal account. Steve-O was banned from Terrebonne Parish, BC. He stapled his balls to his leg. I distinctly remember some rumors about the reason why Bruce Willis was taking so many roles in shitty movies before it was announced he has dementia. Every aspect of Laurie Vallow's unholy life. Also Alex Murdaugh, half monster, half moron. I remember seeing Kevin Spacey shit on Family Guy in like 2005. Clinton cheating with Monica. The secret cow level in Diablo. It was added to Diablo 2, retrospectively transforming the internet rumor into a prophecy. Every year around her B-Day there was a rumor of Betty White died. When I heard she died I scoffed, saying that dumb rumor is back. Then saw it on the news. I was in shock. Cassie was abused for 10 years when she was with Puffy, and his assistant, Capricorn Clark, was her minder. I remember seeing rumors about Kevin Spacey on Tumblr before everything came out. I think it was around 2013-15. The post was talking about how he was secretly gay, and that back in his hometown he was known for always spending time with young men. I told my friends about it cause we were big House of Cards fans, and none of them believed me. Then it all came out a few years later. Ted Cruz being spotted on a plane to Cancun. Initially dismissed as a Twitter rumor. Then, lol. A guy flying in a lawn chair suspended by weather balloons. Dan Schneider. Though we don't know exactly what all has happened, I think there was always whispers on the internet because of the obsession with feet on his shows. Josh Duggar being a kid pervert. The recent murders in Moscow, Idaho. There was an internet rumor that seemed unlikely that one of the surviving roommates had heard the attacks, watched the murderer leave and then went back into her room and slept for 8 hours, with no one calling 911 until early the next afternoon. Seemed unlikely but turned out to be true. Monica Lewinsky's blue dress as evidence. Early days of the internet reported by Drudge Report. Blue Jays are signing OHTA. Oh. Never mind. That Miranda Sings was a pedo. Only one I can really think of. Before the internet, there were persistent rumors that Steve McQueen, the white one, had terminal cancer, and later that Rock Hudson and Freddie Mercury had AIDS, rumors that all of them denied. All of those rumors turned out to be true. That North Korea hacked Sony Pictures because of the Interview movie. That Bruce Jenner was transitioning. Anyone remember Kone 2012 LMAO? Cats the movie, but whole edition. God, I am not gonna get the details of this right, but here's the broad strokes. Random dude is playing Xbox Live and overhears an NFL player talking to his agent about trade. Posts it to the NFL subreddit and gets clowned. Trade is confirmed a few days later. I'm not sure if this should technically count, but Chris Benoit's murder-suicide. Benoit misses a PPV and some teenager posts online that he missed the show because his wife Nancy has died. Flash forward 14 hours later and cops find Nancy's dead body, along with their son and Chris himself, all dead. Turns out some kid had just heard some random rumors online and posted it up on Wikipedia. Cops grabbed all his computers, brought him in, and eventually cleared him, calling it an unbelievable hindrance to their investigation. I haven't seen it here yet, so I'm going to say the Free Britney movement. At first I thought the Free Britney people were kinda crazy at first, but then they turned out correct and they rescued Britney. Britney Spears' conservatorship. The woman had cameras in her house, her devices were being monitored, and if she refused to work, she'd be thrown in a mental hospital. I haven't gotten her book yet, but I honestly don't know if I can handle reading it. The one documentary she said she liked was telling enough. How long have the rumors about Sean Combs been circulating? Decades? The Lost Doctor Who episodes that my mom and her friends always talked about. Turns out, there really are episodes that went missing. Trekkies pretty much knew that George Takei is gay before he was officially out. A Kelly for sure. When it was all in the news, my only thought was, but this was out ages ago. Alison Mack and Xiv. I read stories on message boards a few years prior to any major reports and arrests. Genuinely thought it was conspiracy theories BC. There weren't any actual news reporting it at the time, and thought she was a random celeb chosen for trolling. that the writer of Lost were making it up as they went. Turned out to be absolutely true. How badly Amazon shits on its employees. The Island Boys being incestuously gay for each other. Jared is a pedo. That Bill Cosby is a rapist. It only got big after Hannibal Buress brought it up during a stand-up routine, but even classic Simpsons hinted to it when Homer reads a book called Bill Cosby's Guide to Intergenerational Perversity. A billionaire had a secret island where he would fly underage girls to have sex with them. At one time, talk of steroid use in sports was considered irresponsible gossip. It was a huge scandal when it was found out Mark Maguire was taking a nutritional supplement that was not allowed. Meanwhile, he was also injecting anabolic steroids into his veins. Snape killed Dumbledore. Army the Cannibal Hammer. Will and Jada are swingers. Corporations and governments by association deliberately suppress scientific data to maintain profits. The Tim Burton Hansel and Gretel that aired once on Halloween in the 80s. I heard for years that it was fake, but I knew it was real because my dad recorded everything in the 80s and he recorded that. We let a good friend of ours borrow it and switch it over from VHS to DVD, and soon after that it made its way onto the internet, and there it is now. I know it's our copy because the tracking in the beginning is screwed up. Still have the VHS. The Duggar family. There were online rumors about sin in the camp for years, but nobody knew how dark it actually was. It was rumored on the internet this past Friday that Shohei Ohtani was on board an airplane heading to Toronto to join the Toronto Blue Jays. Turns out that he was in Southern California, and sometime late Friday afternoon it was confirmed that he had signed a 10-year $700 million contract with the LA Dodgers. As you can imagine, Jays fans were obviously devastated. LOL. Charlie Sheen being HIV positive. The mattress store money laundering thing. Bill Cosby. That Rob Schneider pays migrant workers to choke him. That Bruce Jenner was transgender. So the Inquirer even run that article like over a decade ago, but it's the Inquirer, so most publications didn't pick up the story obviously. And then Caitlyn came out. Diddy in general. That Representative Anthony Weiner was not, in fact, hacked like he claimed to be, and he did in fact try to slide into the DMs of someone not his wife Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman Huma Abedin. It's old, but that incident basically solidified conservative mistrust of the MSM. Travis Kelce dating some pop singer. Chris Benoit's Wikipedia being edited hours before we all found out what happened. Trump for Prez. Jesse Slaughter was telling the truth about Davi Vanity the whole